After watching the latest episode where he kidnaps her, trying to convince her to marry him, I had to know if she escaped from her princess lessons or not. The amount of controversy/hate this story was getting, I had to read it ahead. And surprisingly, I didn't just find negativity on social media. I searched on Reddit. Nope, there was no positivity there either. Then I went on Goodreads because it also has a novel. Still didn't find many people liking the story. So my last option was Amazon, and there not more than 1 star was coming into my sight. So naturally I grew more eager to read it, and let me tell you if it's 1 star worthy or more. The basic story is that a 7-year-old Leticia Dorman, daughter of a duke, is told that she is engaged to Prince Clark, the future king, and is immediately sent to the capital for strict training on how to act like a queen. Under the harsh instructions of Layla, Leticia's once lively personality becomes dull as she endures years of lessons alone, with her only comfort being her maid Lily. 10 years later, at a royal ball, Leticia is shocked when Clark arrives with Lady Brianna, hinting that maybe he found her replacement. Overjoyed at the chance of freedom, Leticia publicly thanks Brianna, runs away, and convinces her brother to take her to a quiet village. There she lives a carefree life, fishing and becoming loved by the villagers, until Clark tracks her down and reveals that they are still legally engaged because she never officially ended the arrangement. Devastated and determined to escape, she decides to run, even promising to help Brianna marry Nadir. But her plan fails when she runs into Clark, who took her back to the palace, where he tries to convince her with a custom garden and animals and promises to cancel her harsh lessons. But to her, it was not just about lessons. It was about marrying a royal person. Plus, her stubbornness kinda kicked in. That's why she refuses his marriage proposal, and he, in return, locks her in a room. I swear there is something very wrong with the man in this storyline, because this one forces his love to make several escape attempts again, all of which fails because he repeatedly catches her, leaving our girl feeling trapped and more determined than ever to regain her freedom. And just so you know, it got worse before it gets any better, because he increases her guards, didn't let her go out of her room, took her favorite servant away, got mad at her for keeping her distance, and made her stay in his bed, forcing her to cuddle, which resulted in her fainting. Now for the biggest spoiler part that might make you not hate him so much. Though it did kind of feel forced, like the author was giving it another chance to make it better, but still, it takes a turn. And the main plot becomes the fact that whatever Clark did, he did it because Letty's brother asked him to do it. Like the mastermind or the criminal behind all that cruelness was her own brother. Which didn't make it less toxic, but it did make sense. And the worst part was that her brother wanted Clark to do more, but he denied it because he didn't want it to hurt Letty too much. And before knowing all that, I nearly popped a vein. And I think you will too if you read it, because the way nobody cares about what Leticia wanted. She complains to her brother about harassment, and he gives her some lame idea that turns into a funny scene. She complains to others, and they back up, taking his side, pointing out his sweet little scenes. I personally still kept going because the art was pretty good. I was first reading it on the non-colored one, and then I shifted to the colored one. And honestly, he's drawn beautifully there and looks way more handsome than how he is in the anime. Plus, everyone else looks good too, except Nadir. Okay, I have to admit that if I take a moment to think about his reasoning, then it make a little sense too, because according to him, Letty is a noble woman, so it's her duty to get married. She can't stay single forever to enjoy her freedom, so it's either the Crown Prince Clark or someone else. And in Nadir's mind, Clark is far better option than anyone else because he loves her. At first I thought that it was talkish of Clark to know every single move that Letty was going to make, but it clears out that her brother, who knows her all too well, was behind it. Okay, enough of the negativity, let's move to the good parts. Well, they're not exactly good parts, but I find them cute in some ways. The first one is the fact that they were each other's first love. She just forgets about it because she was young. And we got this story from the queen. As she tells Leticia that back when they first met, Letty said that she was so glad to be engaged to a handsome person like Clark. And she has also kissed him on the cheek when he had made her a flower crown because she didn't know how to make one. Not just that, back then she had also said that she loved him. It was so cute, and she does start to fall for him a little more, especially after he makes her the crown again and confesses his love too in a way. Now, maybe we should add more points to him because he was the one who wanted Letty to let go of her mask, as he has also noticed how her smile started to fade after the lessons, and that was one of the main reasons to why she asked for her brother's help. Because she was the only color in his life, as it was pretty boring and sad before meeting her, and he wanted to escape from those parts too. But to him, she was the escape, and to her, freedom meant escape from everything duties, lessons, being proper, marriage, and most importantly, Clark and his overbearing love that she takes a while to get used to. But as the story progresses, he shows her that they could both be free while staying together, that they both could escape along with each other. So they get married and becomes husband and wife, but she's still not ready. So Clark pretends to fall asleep early every night to not make her feel awkward or embarrassed. He didn't try to pursue her even when Nadir pushes him for an ear, reminding me again why he's one of my least favorite character there. Oh, and I forgot the main part that this whole plot comes undone once she gets kidnapped. This was also an odd part in the story because the person who kidnapped her was the prince of another kingdom and was after Maria, who looked similar to Letty, so they ended up kidnapping the wrong one. By the way, he's a minor, and later he just turns into a funny simp character while Maria stays as Maria, the cool maid who belonged to the noble family once. Anyways, Letty gets kidnapped and Clark and Nadir set out to find her. After they find her and she tries to escape again, Nadir tells her everything. Not going to lie, I liked Letty's journey from kind of strangers to lovers, though gaslighting might be a big part of that. And sometimes it didn't feel smooth at all, but maybe I enjoyed the first volume because in the second one, it turns more chaotic, controversial, and becomes selective comedy. It's the part where they get married and went on a honeymoon with their friends to another kingdom. There it gets so weird, like the whole family only works on a single brain cell, apart from the king himself. And also from this volume, we start to see a little bit more of Nadir and Brianna's story, which is still not complete because as the author said, next volume, meaning volume 4 of the manga, will have their engagement arc. For Brianna, I didn't hate her character, and in fact, I started to like those two together. Spoilers for them are that she is his first love too, and that's why he had asked her to pretend to be his fiancé, saying that in return he would pay for her family. And as for Leticia and her obsession with freedom and escape, she continues to do that, and Clark promises to always chase her. It's weird and chaotic as I said, but I did complete it all the 30 chapters in 2 sittings. So I'd say it's a fine read, and even a fun one if you put your morals to sleep and watch just for fun. And maybe they will make some changes in the storyline, especially the last parts, because they are already modifying some scenes, like the one here. In both novel and manga, Clark kisses her cheek, but in the anime they turned it into a comedy, as it is supposed to be a rom-com. So I'd give it a 2.5 or maybe a 3 star out of 5 because I really did love the art. And if you have read the manga or completed watching the anime by the time you see this video, do tell me how much do you rate it. Alright, that was all for today's video. Thank you for listening to me. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
But I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change.